Namaste, welcome to this video. I'm Anna Breeze, and today we're going to look at 6 ways that you can relieve stress, and I'm going to combine a kind of spiritual perspective on it, but as well as give you practical tips that can help just deal with stress when it's occurring in our lives or in your life. Okay, so number 1 is obviously just to kind of have a good look at what's going on in your immediate life. Are you taking on too much? Are you overworking? Are you getting stressed about? Are you spending too much time with a particular relationship that's kind of pulling you down or stressing you out? Are you spending too much time with people who are also stressed? Because sometimes we take on a lot of the energies of other people, and we have to kind of balance that as well, our social time, and just examine our relationships as well, which I'll go into a bit further on. So it was really just looking at the lifestyle choices that we're making. What are we doing? How many hours are we working a day? What relationships are we interacting with? Because these are the things that affect us every day on our day-to-day, in a day-to-day way. So because often the reason why we're getting this stress is because it's just a build-up of situations in our lifestyle that are not really supporting our emotional well-being. So we have to find out what is it that's causing these stresses, and address those on a practical level if we can. So I've put that as my first thing to look at. So the second one is to create some relaxation time for yourself, just to create a space where you can relax 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. This is just your personal me time, how you can just take time out and meditate, go for a walk in nature, just give yourself a complete time out from your life basically, and all the details of your life. So it just gives the time for the mind and the emotions to unwind, and nature is one of the best ways we can do this. So I have got number 3 is nature time. So definitely spending time in nature, being in purified air, because nature is so clean, and just oxygenating our bodies, giving ourselves that break, listening to the birds, being around the ocean is very good as well because of the negative ions, and earthing is another good way to kind of just release that stress through our feet into the earth. She knows how to purify it for us, but obviously we do this with gratitude as well for Mother Earth supporting us. And in these times of COVID, she's been there for us, supporting us when we felt alone or stressed or whatever. So spending time in nature is definitely an obvious one. Another one is just dietary kind of choices, looking at if we're taking too much sugar, if we're taking too much salt, if we're taking too much alcohol, red meat, caffeine. These are all kind of acidic substances that can stimulate us at the time and kind of give us a temporary relief. But what happens is afterwards, there's a kind of crash point as well with these things. So we don't want to overdo things like caffeine, sugar, alcohol, and red meat, acidic foods in our diet. Alkalizing with lots of green foods, because these are basically nature's tonics. This is why nature is green. So it's like the color green is very calming to our system, and it's the color of the heart chakra as well. So we want to just utilize these natural foods as much as possible, because they help to alkalize our system and neutralize the acidity. And of course, just drink plenty of water. Lots of coconut water, I find, is very good. Stay hydrated. Okay, so The next one is chamomile and herbal teas. Chamomile is very calming and soothing. It is a very relaxing herb and works really well as a tea, especially if you're having problems sleeping. So having like a cup of chamomile tea, maybe an hour before you go to bed at night, is going to be very soothing and prepare you for sleep. And it can also be good during the day if you are feeling like the stress levels are just getting a bit too high, then taking a chamomile tea will help to relax the system again as well. Okay, there is actually a frequency as well, which is 174 hertz, and it's used for pain relief. So if the stress is coming from a physical worry or a physical issue that you might have, I would recommend using 174 hertz. You can look that music up on YouTube and just play it as you go to sleep, or during the day when you're working even. So I've kind of addressed more of the practical ways that we can address stress levels, but also the other one is just to be aware that it's a conditional experience that's coming up in our awareness, and that we are not what's happening or occurring. So for example, if we're overthinking a situation, it's to kind of step back and use our awareness, our subtle awareness, to recognize that this activity of thinking is going on and that we are not that, because we're not. So just coming back to that subtle awareness, allowing things to be as they are, but to be in playing more of an observer role. So balance being with doing as well. So meditation, and balancing our work and our play, and being aware of these conditional states when they arise as well. All these things are going to help. The other thing I wanted to mention was just that a lot of the time, if we're crying, these are just ways of the stress getting released in our bodies. So if we get to a point where we've been thinking too much and we've been very emotional about something, then it can come up as tears. And this is just the body's way of releasing the stress. This was just something that kind of occurred to me recently because I was really going through it as well, to do with grieving. And it's like just being aware that, you know, when we're crying, that it's not like a bad thing to be crying, you know, it's okay. And I know you know that, but just crying is good for us and is actually the body's natural way of releasing the stress. So let those tears flow if they want to flow, okay? Just let them flow. So that's my tips for stress relief today. It's quite detailed, so I'm going to put a list of them below in the description, or it might be available as a PDF for you to download. And also want to let you know that I have a free guided meditation as well that is extremely relaxing, and I don't recommend you listen to it whilst you're working, but it'll be very good to use during the day, in the morning, not during the day, but in the morning or before you go to sleep, or any time that you have that little space that you've carved out for yourself, that 20-minute relaxation period. So I highly recommend that you do have this every day. And what this does as well through meditation is it creates a kind of detachment from the day-to-day busyness and the day-to-day attachments that we tend to get involved in, because we tend to get wrapped up in our day-to-day life. But by having those 20 minutes either side of the day, it gives us an opportunity to let go. It gives us an opportunity to basically hand over any stresses, any concerns to the universe, and basically just ground ourselves and connect with our source within. So because it is always about coming home to ourselves, to live a balanced life where we're not getting, where the stress isn't going to build up to a point where it just like becomes insurmountable. So we want to create a balanced lifestyle, and I've given you some tips here do that. So it's just creating that balanced lifestyle where we're not going to be crashing, basically. So we're going to try not to get to that point where we're crashing. So I'm just sending you love and light. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe, share and like, and I do appreciate you being here. Take care and have a blessed day.